Hello, folks, and welcome to another great edition of PPR Esports. I am your host, Besteon, as always, coming to you live today from the Hungaroring in Budapest. This is round 12 of 21 for our Division 1 fleet. I'm joined today by IB Na, as always, and I am excited to run you through everything right now. Here we go, folks. Just a quick reminder before we begin everything. Pole Position Racing Weekly Schedule. We have made this very nice graphic for you all to refer to. For all of our racing we have going on, we've got a lot new stuff coming down the pipeline. Specifically, we have a new division of Xbox on Tuesdays, as well as a PlayStation 4 division on Thursday. We should really proofread that one, fellas. I'm sorry. Come check us out if you're interested in joining. The Discord link is in the description, and it will be in the chat as well. Moving on, though, today we'll be at the Hungaroring in Budapest, Hungary. 35 laps around, 14 turns, 8 to the right, 6 to the left. There's going to be 2 DRS zones, one between turns 14 and 1 on the pit straight, as well as a very, very short one on the downhill run to turn 2 before the very awkward left-right turn through the fast end of Sector 1. Lap record held by Max Verstappen, set last year, a 1:17.1. Circuit length is 4.3 kilometers or 2.6 miles. Definitely a shorter lap around here, but you know what? That makes it really exciting. Bit of a cage match feel. Moving down the field now, we go to our first constructor, Williams, who's leading us off today. B-Dunk and Double OT. B-Dunk getting back on the podium after missing out at Silverstone. Hopefully he will repeat the same thing today and get back in the title fight. Double OT, on the other hand, slumping a little bit, finishing out of the points at Hockenheim. On to Renault. Chandler Seda, who is on fire. That's 3 race wins in a row. PPR Nick as well, unfortunately, not making it to the end last week. Hopefully we'll see something out of him today. Scuderia Toro Rosso Honda, featuring Saxman and ARL Brackish. They've had a pretty good run at it so far. Saxman sitting, well, pretty good. P3 in the championship, 4 really strong finishes in a row. Brackish also doing really well. It's 3 points finishes, putting him P9. Very consistent driving for sure. Racing Point now. Andre Myrie and Ed Torona. Andre Myrie, unfortunately, off his form a little bit last week, finishing P13. Championship position, though, Ed is doing quite well despite 2 DNFs in a row. Hopefully we'll see him bounce back. Alfa Romeo, Mr. Reimer, and Ginger Horizon. Reimer finally getting to the end last week, but only a P12 to show for it. Ginger not making it out to the grid. Mercedes featuring Sparky and Jay Lee. Sparky sitting 13th in the championship. Jay Lee sitting 14th. You'll have to excuse that typo, folks. Sparky getting into the points last time. Jay Lee kind of still trying to find his feet in this second third of the season. Delirious. Capita Hood back in the top 5 again after a podium at Silverstone, finishing P5 at Hockenheim. Delirious coming home in the points. That is going to move Red Bull up the table as well. Scuderia Ferrari, King Kirk and Caspita. Unfortunately, both drivers out of the points last time out. Let's hope they can change their fortunes today. Rich Energy, not doing so hot. Vivid, Cheesy Train not really showing up for races, so let's hope we can change that. Let's go to the Drivers' Championship, folks. This is the current table. I have double and triple checked this. B-Dunk is trailing Chandler Seda by a race win. So hopefully B-Dunk will be in the fight today, maybe hoping for a little bit of a duke out with Chandler. Behind him is Saxman, who's kind of the best of the rest there. Behind him, Boss Cookie, Andre Myrie, only separated by 3 points. Ed Torona, only 6 behind Andre. So a close teammate battle there indeed. Double OT, Capita Hood tied for P7 and P8. Brackish down there, only 3 points behind them. Leading out the rest of the field is Reimer, Ginger, Delirious, and Sparky, all about 15 points apart and tied. So very exciting stuff. The back half of the pack here, we have King Kirk, Jay Lee, both tied. PPR Nick with 14 points there. Behind them is Caspita and Run the Jewels. And your non-points achievers are Vivid and Cheesy Train. And we got our reserves listed there. We have Hoopalicious, leading Loki, leading Ramrod, leading Sahara. Constructor Championship. It's a close one, folks. Renault only trailing by 6 points at the top. After them, it's a cliff down to P3 and P4. Scuderia, Toro Rosso, and Racing Point both looking to get in the mix. Down there is the best of the rest, being led by McLaren. Go figure. Only 7 points ahead of Alfa Romeo. Red Bull back in the fight now, though. Only 10 points behind Alfa Romeo. Mercedes and Ferrari, unfortunately, will be looking to change their fortunes today, and Haas will be looking to get on the board just this once. IB, how are we doing today, my man?
I'm hanging in here, man. How are you doing?
I have very few complaints. I am very excited for some racing today. On my left, I can see the lobbies almost ready to go. What's your pick for today?
Um, I don't know. This is a very tricky track. I just finished up my Division 3 race here, um, and it was extremely challenging. There's a lot of really fast guys in this track, but I ultimately I'm a huge Ginger fan. I think I'm gonna sip the ginger beer here and root for Ginger Horizon.
I can certainly respect that. Ginger definitely is the guy to look out for. He's always kind of the one sneaking in the backdrop of the top three in this field. Not to count out Hoopalicious either. Wasn't that a fantastic battle at the end of Hockenheim there? I mean, pretty much the top three. It was just 2, 3, 4, right? It was
Absolutely.
B
Hopefully,
Dunk and it was Hoop and it was Ginger, all kind of not Ginger rather, but it was Hoop, B Dunk, and one other fighting it out for P2, which was a very good race.
absolutely. I really hope that the best of the rest in the top 5 there can keep up with Chandler this time, not let him get too far away. Maybe we can see a little bit more of a struggle for Chandler to go ahead and rock away with this season as he's trying to do.
Certainly so. And we are actually, luckily, going live now to the track. Let us load into Console Companion here and see what we got. The Hungaro Ring. IB, what's your strat?
Medium hard.
Medium hard?
Medium hard. You can get a pretty decent lap time in on a set of medium tires here. We did have a couple of people on quali choose and opt to go to the softs. And I mean, we saw lap times faster than Max Verstappen's lap record in quali. So I really think though that these drivers should be able to accomplish that just the same, but on that medium compound.
Yeah, I mean, that would pretty much put them pull time. What do you think? 115, 116 today?
Yeah, about 116 is what we saw in D3. I expect these guys to be at minimum around that, but obviously we all know that they're going to be faster. If not, what are we doing here?
Yeah, certainly. And you definitely never know if there is a wet qualifying. Hungary is known to throw curveballs every once in a while. I mean, there's been torrential downpour at this track. There's been hot days at this track. Here we are now, live to the pit lane. Let's see who the first car out is. I'd be shocked today if I saw anyone leave on the softs to start, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I think we'll see everybody kind of do some reconnaissance laps here on a harder compound, and then if they're going to go into the softs, they'll do it. Personally, my strategy for qualifying was to go out, do a run on hards, come back, do a run on mediums, and then try to see where the timing was. I just ran out of time for my strat. So, it was going to be an emergency stop for those softs at the end, but I don't think we'll see anybody jump out. We saw a couple people in D3 just jump straight out on to the softs. It looks like Ginger Horizon, Ed, and Hoopalicious are all to the track.
Yeah, certainly. Already got some of our fastest guys out there right now running. I got Ginger on softs. I've got Cookie on the hards. I got Ed on the hard compound tire. Interesting that some people, Ginger went out here on the softs. Maybe he thinks he's going to go for maybe an aggressive two-stopper, but that's really kind of would be a very contrarian view of the Hungary strategy, wouldn't it?
It would. Something else that I would say about Ginger is, though, he doesn't really like to show his cards, does he?
No, he is certainly an enigma wrapped in a puzzle. So he is certainly the interesting man on the grid today to watch.
Yeah, I don't know that I think if anything, he's out here trying to make other people worry that he's going to run full on his softs. I think that he's up to his usual tricks here. I think he's wise enough not to qualify on them.
Certainly. With that said, why don't you take us on a on board of Ed here, IB, and take us through a lap of Hungary?
Absolutely. Very nice long straight. It does go a little bit downhill into turn 1 here over the pits before you have this beautiful right-hander that just continues to tighten up before opening back up and kind of sliding away from you there, giving you a little bit more banking. Now, this is probably the trickiest corner on the track right here. If you don't get your braking and your throttle position right, the car will run extremely wide and you won't be set up for that right-hander up the hill. Now, this is another very tricky corner here because you want to carry as much speed as possible and not run wide as we saw Ed do there.
That will be a discounted time, I suppose, won't it?
Yes, that would be invalid unless he lifted. You know how Cody's is.
Very
this
true.
is also very hard passing area. There's no real passing opportunities once you get to the infield of this track. It becomes very difficult. This is really your first passing opportunity on this rundown here, back to the beginning section here before you come into the other kind of half loop. So it's really a challenging track. This is another one where you have to watch your throttle, make sure you get on it just right. And this exit is so important. If you don't get this exit right and you don't take just enough curve on the outside, you're not going to produce a fantastic lap time. But even with Ed going wide, he lifted his throttle enough still to run a 118.
Yeah, Ginger wisely going slow on the softs there. That was certainly a reconnaissance lap. A good eye to you, Ivy. We got a couple more times coming across now. That's going to be double OT with a 118.8. So track not really ramping up quite yet here. That's Caspita back into the pits. Boss Cookie on his in lap. Do we have anyone on a flyer at the moment?
It looks like Kirk might be on a flyer out here. The only car on the medium tires. Going through sector 2 right now.
Excellent. Excellent. That would figure as much considering he's on the tire of the day, or tire du jour, if you speak French.
I mean, this would be the tire that I would swear by. It looks like he might be warming up. Might have backed off. Yeah, he's got his ERS cranked down to 0. So this next lap here coming around should be the flyer from Kirk. Hopefully I don't jinx him like I did in Germany.
Well, here's a chance to undo your wrongs. I'll go ahead and narrate this lap. On board now with King Kirk flying down the pit straight, DRS wide open, getting that car turned all the way up. ERS up into 5. Engine's going to be in the max mode here, braking a little bit past the 50 board into that smooth right-handed hairpin. I'm a big fan of this turn. Great overtaking place. Ooh, a bit of a slide there, though. He's got it under control now, looking for the braking into the left-hander. Let's see. Braking a little early there, not wanting to overshoot kind of that late apex. He's done that one very smoothly. Looking for that, kiss that right side, a little bit to the left. Now the uphill run into the very, very fast left-hander. Another brave overtaking spot on this track. Ooh, another snap of oversteer, but Kirk's held it through the right-handed loop into the kind of low-speed chicane, braking right at 50, turning in. Right wheel over that curb, left wheel over the inside of that curb. Has he backed off? No, it looks like he's kind of done that, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has. He wasn't happy after that slide at the top. That's the problem. If you take that high-speed left-hander and you clip too much curb, you're going to throw the back end out, and he just wasn't happy with that from the get-go.
Certainly not. We have a new driver today. Yeah, I was going to say Chandler Seda, 116 on the hard compounded tire.
Keep
Nice.
in mind, guys, this is why we watch D1 versus D3. That is literally a completely different time zone almost on that hard compound tire compared to the softs.
Yeah, Chandler's going to unzip his human skin one day to reveal an alien underneath, won't he?
Is he the Stig?
Yeah.
Is Chandler the Stig?
Some say. You have to wind him up before you put him in the car. Speaking of unfamiliar faces, ERS Ham Newton. He's a new addition to the field today. I believe we had him out last time at Hockenheim, but glad to see him back on the track, filling in for the Red Bull team today, who will be without Delirious or Capita Hood, setting a 117 on those hard compound tires. Hoopalicious right behind, and Jay Lee, 117 on the softs. Good for him, getting in the mix.
He can't be happy with that. If he has to start on the softs with around everybody with the hards, it's going to be his #1 priority to get past everybody and make a gap.
Certainly, and then that would be soft to hard, essentially, and he'd have to make those hards go the distance.
The softs can run for about 13 to 16 laps. That's stretching it.
I was going to say, you must be a much gentler driver than I. I usually grind my tires, especially if they're the red compound.
Yeah, I mean, this track is just really demanding on tires. In the softer compounds, it just eats them alive. It's much like, you know, Germany last week. We suggested that they mainly stayed on medium and hard and stay away from the softs, and a lot of drivers did that. I think we're going to see kind of the same thing here, but I don't. We're nowhere near done. These guys aren't going to stand on hard compound. They're definitely going to come in and grab a set of mediums and put in their fastest.
Yeah, I am a big fan of kind of getting the nerves out of your system by doing a lap on the hards because you know it won't really come back to bite you later. But if if you grind those mediums up by accident, that's your only set for quali.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what Kirk's feeling at this point with 3 laps on him, and not having any fuel in the car at this point, and ERS just being cranked all the way up. He's got to be in low fuel mode.
Yeah, certainly not looking to really put too much strain on the engine before they hit the track. Looking for some. We got Brackish on an outlap. Let's see what he's got going on here. That's going to be the hard compound tire. Time to beat still a 1:16.7, I believe. Yes, 1:16.7 on board now with Brackish. Let's hope this one's a clean lap. The problem areas today have been kind of running wide after the uphill left-hander at Sector 2. And another problem area, definitely breaking into that low-speed chicane, because if you try to go a little too late, you will overcook your breakfast.
Nobody likes burnt eggs.
No, especially not the Hungarians. On board with Brackish now, into Sector 2, keeping the Toro Rosso very plain and looking real good into the half loop before the chicane. Taking a good line through there, a little shallow maybe. Let's see, though, into the chicane. Taking a lot of that left-handed curve. Done well, though. Hasn't really cost him too much time. Into the S section, as it were. This is actually one of my favorite parts of the track. Very flowy, very, very easy on the eyes. Kind of feels like you're taking a nice coastal drive here in California. Into the final sector here, though. Let's see. Looking for that half loop. Careful not to touch that inside curb, that white curb. It's kind of a drainage ditch of sorts. And it will catch these tires out as it's like putting a rubber glove on and trying to throw a football. Let's see here now. DRS wide open, down to the finish. Brackish is going to go. It's going to be 1:18.3, a very conservative time. But then again, he was also on the hards. Chandler, though, now on those mediums. Let's ride on board with him. It says he's in the pits, though.
Yeah, it looks like we do have Caspita out. Caspita is currently on track on the hard compound. I can't tell. Yeah, he is nearing the end of his flying lap. We did see B-Dunk come out and do a reconnaissance lap there. Thought he was going to go for it. Looks like Caspita is pulling in as well.
Yeah, here come the medium runners now. They're getting out there. They were waiting for the track to ramp up, I suppose, before they went out and put on their Sunday best.
Hoopalicious is still out here trying on these hards. He's going to have to hustle in order to get back around and try a different compound here.
Oh, certainly so.
7 minutes left.
Yeah, the lap around here is short, luckily, so you only need about, let's say, a minute and a half-ish, maybe some change, just to get back in and out. Maybe that's a little aggressive, but I like to cut it close.
Did you figure out a glitch to make them change your tires in the pit lane, sir?
That is got to be my biggest gripe about qualifying in this game, that I can't get on the MFD, which, by the way, is one of the handiest tools in this game. I know if you're a seasoned player, you know that, but it's crazy to me that during race conditions, we can so easily change compounds, say I'm boxing, change my wing, but in qualifying, we don't get the same luxury. I can't just say change my tires and get me out. It's kind of a shame that we have to pull into the garage and then pull out of the garage.
Well, and I don't know about you, but I'm not always carrying enough fuel.
I always go for the lightest load.
Yeah, so there's no way you're carrying enough fuel to be able to do 2 laps anyways.
That's true. That is a good point. I suppose if you know your lap is shit, you can back. Excuse me, folks. Didn't mean to say that. Bit of a slip. If your lap is doo-doo, you can get back in quickly under that lean setting. Sorry about that, folks. It happens. But back to the action, though. We got Jay Lee on his flyer on the medium tire. IB, I got to ask, the midfield battle's kind of heating up in the latter half of the season. It's kind of a race between P1 and P2, and then it's a really tight field between about P5 to like P10. Who do you think is your favorite to come out of that on top?
I think Saxman is doing a good job of hanging in there with the top three. I don't really want to count him out, but count him out of the top three or the head battle there. But I mean, he's definitely going to be able to hold up anything coming at him. I think. I would also, I don't know. I like Brackish. I like Kirk. I like all these drivers because they're our friends ultimately. But it's hard to choose. That's like asking me to pick between my favorite dog if I had multiple dogs, man.
You hear that, folks? You just called our fleet of drivers dogs. No,
they
I'm
are
kidding.
dogs.
They're my dogs. Hoo, hoo. All right. Jay Lee on a flyer now in that Silver Arrow, sitting P6 on a 117 into the right-hander, braking nice and late. Well done there. Getting the car down. Ooh, a bit of a slide, though. That car is looking loosey-goosey now into the left-hander. Let's see. Braking late again. He's going to just kind of miss the apex a touch, but he's set up well for the right-hander. Let's see. Not running too wide on the exit through the uphill. And that's a back off, folks. I'm going to have to abort that one. Got Caspita on an outlap. We got Double OT on an outlap. And now we got Ham Newton on an outlap. And it's the color of the day is yellow.
Absolutely. How the mighty have fallen. Look at that. Kirk being brave and aggressive on that soft tire.
Wow.
Horizon out here. Ginger's dropped all the way back down to 15th on this medium tire and is currently going around here on a flyer, getting ready to approach entering sector 2. So he is definitely going to be looking to improve because he did make that time on the hard compound.
Well, let's go on board with Ginger. Once you get to this level of F1 esports, I mean this maybe isn't
It's
like
pressure.
It is pressure, and it's all just it comes down to just concentration and focus, and feeling the car as best you can through your rig. Chandler taking a very adventurous line there through the chicane.
Boss Cookie taking P1.
Wow, Boss Cookie.
16-4.
Good for him. Very good to see that. Wow, we're going to have quite the fight on our hands today. Hungary's an interesting track, too. I mean, it's not really, if you look at the European calendar, it really kind of sits out on his own as this kind of tight, twisty track besides, Monaco. There's not really another track like it that's not a street circuit that's this tight.
And it's so narrow. I feel like if we would have went to Zandvoort without the modifications that have been done recently, Hungary and Zandvoort are the closest comparison that you could possibly have.
I quite like that, actually. That's a really good take, IB. Zandvoort is a very thin track. I've never raced on it in F1 per se. I have done it in Assetto Corsa Competizioni. And trying to get a GT3 car around there is like trying to drive a bus.
and I don't know if you've seen any of the latest footage or anything that's been launched from either Red Bull or the track itself. It's much wider in a lot of areas now. And it kind of does, how Coda does at the top of the hill. It's extremely wide into turn 1, and then it's just narrow after turn 1. And it kind of does that in many areas throughout Zandvoort now. I think more so what I'm curious about is the final turn banking with that track and how the tires are going to handle it, seeing that we had so much issues back in the day at Indianapolis with Michelin at the banking.
So, funny you should say that. I do have it on good authority that Pirelli and Zandvoort have been in close contact with one another. So every time, basically every iteration of that banking that they come out with, they're passing all that data along to Pirelli, so Pirelli can make specially graded tires to handle those lateral forces. And I also think Zandvoort's not going to make the mistake of kind of diamond cutting the asphalt. They did in Indianapolis. I mean, that's just such an American thing. You drive on any highway, you can just look out the window of your car and see the grooves. So anyway, though, Zandvoort talk aside, we're on board with King Kirk now on those softs. Let's see if he can't smash that 116.5 set by Chandler into the right-hander now. Looking to find the pace. Qualifying is over, folks. Unless you're on your flyer, you will not be seeing the light of day. Last car across the line is going to be, and that I think that was that Saxman who just missed it, or was that
Just missed it.
Oh man,
we're talking about like a yard away.
that is just heartbreaking. Kirk though flying in, and he's invalidated his lap, so that will be qualifying over for him. He will just settle for that 1:16.8 on the softs and kind of starting out of position, unfortunately. Ham Newton though, finishing up his flyer, kind of the dark horse candidate for the top 5 here today through the S section, looking real tight in that Red Bull into the right-hander there. Taking that beautifully now. Into the final loop.
Sector.
Yeah, and a purple sector. Taking it very tidy through this. Track is nice and ramped up into the loop. Watch out for the gutter. Taking it nicely. Good. Taking it just out to the right. It's a bit like driving in downtown. Right over the curb. Take that nice right-hander. Easy, easy, easy. Look for the throttle. Boom. Pedal down. You're in 4th. You're in 5th. You're in 6th. DRS is open across the line. ERS Ham Newton. 1:16 flat. 1:16 flat. He will start front row alongside Chandler. Folks, your starting order so far is Chandler Seda, P1, Ham Newton, P2, Hoopalicious moving up to P3. Behind them, Boss Cookie, B-Dunk, Ginger, King, Kirk, Ed, and Saxman. Bringing out the rest of the cars is Double OT, Brackish, Andre Myrie, Reimer, Jay Lee, Nick, and bringing up the rear in the Alfa Romeo is Caspido. So, Ivy, you see the order now. Where do you see some of the battles maybe starting to heat up on this track?
I mean, there's no question that the top 5 are going to be battling from the lights out. I mean, turn 1 is going to be chaos because you're going to see a lot of people trying to be opportunistic. But they have to keep in mind, this is a 36 lap race. It's not going to be won in that first corner, but
you can definitely lose it.
Are definitely going to try.
You can always lose.
Do, right?
You can always lose in the first corner. Funny the way that works.
Can't win. It's not like you get to the first corner and you've already done 36 laps. No.
Yeah, and look at that. Looking down the order, medium, medium, medium. King Kirk, the only outlier there. And then at the back of the field, Jay Lee on the softs, unfortunately, setting a 1:17. He will be having a rough go at it, won't he? Well, there's always chance of a safety car here if someone decides to overcook it through that fast left-hander. So let's not count any of the runners out, I suppose. That'd be very malignant of me. Heading into the race, though, 35 laps of Hungary. Do you think we'll be in for we got a dry race, okay, from what I can see. What do you think could potentially surprise these drivers today? Maybe a safety car towards the end, mixing things up like it did in the D3 race?
That definitely did make things very interesting at the end of the D3 race. Lots of fighting at the very end with not very many laps to go. So some of the drivers will be shook up by that. I think though that the people that are most likely to be leading at the end of a safety car are going to be just fine, unless they're on really old tires. So what's going to catch them out is if they're on the wrong tire at the wrong time, or they've put too many laps on their tires and they're in a bad position. I know that the top 3 pitted under the first safety car in D3 and kind of threw several of us for a loop, including Bronny. Bronny Man was like, hey, I'm in first. And we're like, yeah, man, they pitted. And he was like, well, I don't know what to do now. And I was getting ready to go into the pits because I ended up getting wing damage under the safety car from the car in front of me, stopping pretty abruptly. I was putting on my best Sebastian Vettel impression. Okay?
Yeah.
And, I was getting ready to pit, and then the safety car ended, and I was like, oh, crud. So I tried to do a flying lap, and it fell apart. But I think safety cars are the big thing here. Safety cars, wrong tire, wrong time. If there's a safety car within the first 5 laps, biggest advice I can give to these guys is jump in the pits.
Yeah, it's it's kind of one of those things. It's like checking in poker. It's not going to cost you, and it keeps you in the fight.
Well, I mean, even Bronny here, like Bronny, he said, none of these drivers are Ginger Horizon. So we all know that he can go on hards and make it to the end, no problem, and still be extremely competitive. So, it's a known fact. I think that Ginger has the best luck here.
Should start calling him Massage Envy. Keeping that rubber nice and good till the very end. Innuendos aside, though, I really think that B-Dunk starting in P5 can make for a really fascinating start here. A lot of the the two rows in front of him will try to cover one another off. But if any of them miss their braking points, it could just kind of create a Moses effect for the Williams driver to kind of sneak through.
Absolutely. I'm not going to lay, though, my eyes off of Boss Cookie. I mean, in all honesty, he's typically a little farther back starting. So this is a pretty good position for him. And, I think that he could be one of those opportunistic drivers, but without as much risk, as if Double OT was trying to be opportunistic. I think Boss Cookie could nail it.
I love that take. All right, folks, the last of the cars will be rounding the final loop here at the ring. That is Alfa joining us from the back of the pack. Good to see another Merc driver getting out there. Of course, there's no pit lane starts in this game, so he will start from P17. Though, here we go, folks. He's lining up on the grid now. Let's see if we can't get a better camera angle, unfortunately. Don't think we will. All right, that's the last car lined up. Here we go, folks. Live from Hungary, it's Xbox Division 1, pole position racing. That is 3, 4, 5. And that's lights out, and we are underway here in Budapest. Everyone getting a good getaway. That is Alfa at the back, kind of stalling. Hoopalicious, though, alongside now. Chandler getting a good poke out front. We're going to go 3 wide into the first turn. Chandler getting away well. Ham Newton up the inside of the Haas driver. Down the rest of the order, B-Dunk sneaking through. Now up into P4. Boss Cookie staying in about P5. Cars jockeying for position. That's the Haas. Back up the inside of the Red Bull. Hoopalicious looking to get through. Reimer getting past his teammate, getting past the Ferrari there. The Haas coming back at the Red Bull, though. Ham Newton struggling for track position now. Cars are all over the place. Into the left-hander. Chandler leading Hoopalicious, leading Ham Newton. Very tight quarters here, folks. This is Hungary. Don't expect to see a lot of cars trying to run too wide through any of the corners. Reimer trying to get past Ed now into the chicane, having to look up the inside. That won't be happening there. Everyone going to go single file procession through there. King Kirk, though, sitting well up to P9. So he is not sitting well, rather. He was sitting there at the start? I'm sorry.
He was a little higher up. He's lost about 2 positions, it looks like. Off of the start.
Ooh, Saxman almost losing it, and he has lost it. Saxman into the barrier. Not Saxman, sorry, that was Brackish into the barrier. Wow, he completely overcooked it there. No idea if maybe there was some contact, but that will be yellow flags and probably a VSC. Disqualified, oof. That is not great. So that is a stricken Toro Rosso there on the track, disqualified. Yellow flags in Sector 3, and he has vanished from view, so maybe no safety car after all. First lap down, we got Chandler leading Hoop, leading Ham Newton, leading B-Dunk, leading Boss Cookie behind them, Ginger Horizon, Ed, Reimer, King Kirk, Saxman. In the non-points positions, we have Double OT, Andre, PPR Nick, Alfa Jay Lee, and Caspita. And that is an early pit stop for Caspita, likely going to be a wing change there. Oh, I'm out of breath, IB.
Wing change, and is on hard tires already from the start. So he might be able to make it to the end. It's going to be a stretch for him. It looks like we got the 2 Mercedes kind of battling out back there a little bit. But yeah, it's been a pretty exciting first lap, I would say. Like I said, this track is going to be extremely hard for overtaking. And giving Chandler a gap like this right off the start is really going to make things very hard. Like I said last race, for those top 5, top 6 to be able to hang in there with him. Again, I guess, he had his French pastries, as you said, at Germany or whatever.
Yes, he did get his baguettes, indeed. DRS going to be activated this lap, though. Expect to see a lot of interesting dive bombs into the 2 kind of DRS zones here. They're very unique to this circuit. A downhill braking zone in the second one, as well as a hairpin at the end of the first one. Very similar, I would say, to China. Picking your line well through there. Not much shaping up in the field, though. I haven't seen too much action. Everyone kind of going single file at the moment. I'd expect the field to start getting really mixed up after the first round of pit stops.
Yeah, it looks like Saxman is really wanting to size up Kirk here, but not able to get it close enough in an area that would make a good opportunity for it. I mean, like I said, Sector 2, there's almost no question of being able to actually make a legitimate pass there just because of how narrow it is and the speed you're going to need to carry through the corners. So it's really a tough track for overtaking.
Yeah, it certainly is. It reminds me of Monaco. It's kind of more about keeping your car in one piece and just getting to the end. Attrition is the key word. Ginger Horizon, though, getting past Boss Cookie into the hairpin there. Well done. Very difficult zone to overtake, so he must have had a really good run. Chandler Sada going to set that new fastest lap at a 1:19.7. Boss Cookies is going to come back at Ginger here with the DRS. Now he's in the slipstream. Ginger not really going defensive because he knows if he holds the outside line, he will have the inside line through turn 2. Nothing really going there for Boss Cookie. He'll have it again, though. Just not far enough forward, unfortunately. At this track, you really got to be about 1/10, 2/10, almost riding their gearbox if you want to get through.
Exactly. That front straight is just not really long enough unless you're right there and on the money. Yeah, I think the biggest reason that Ginger ended up getting by there was the lockup that Boss Cookie had going into that final mini carousel, if you would. I really don't know what to call that corner there. But, you know, I think it was the lockup that he had there on the left front tire that just made Ginger say, hey, thank you, bye.
Yeah, it is kind of like the car has to be on rails for Hungary. Any deviation from the racing line, you will see yourself losing very crucial tenths. And you can, folks, if you look at the intervals to the left, you can see it right there: 6/10, 5/10, 2, all about half a second. But nobody's able to get close enough. Absolutely, you're right though. That pit straight.
Saxman is right there though on Kirk, and I think we're about to see him move going into turn 1, as his DRS is absolutely wide open, going down to the inside. He is going to be past Kirk before the corner. It's all going to come down to who can brake and if Kirk can undercut, and it doesn't look like Kirk can defend. And Saxman with the DRS again, able to pull away from the Ferrari.
Yeah, Kirk couldn't quite get the switchback done there, could he?
No, and it's a really hard corner to do a switchback in. It's not just one of the corners. You know, there's many corners in the calendar year that you can just do it and it's automatic and you're almost right next to the car again. And that's just one of those corners. I don't know if it's the angle or if how it turns into a downhill. It just makes it really hard. But you just really can't do it at that corner. It's very challenging.
Certainly, and it looks like our closest battle, or was our closest battle on track, looks like the two Mercedes are kind of doing their best Bahrain 2014 impression at the back of the field. I think there may have been some contact between the two of them as well. Is there any chance you can have a look at the race director or maybe see if either of those cars is missing some body work?
Looks like we do have Jay Lee missing a left side end plate. But Alfeasance looks like he got away just fine, no issues. So Jay Lee will have to run around with that end plate for a little bit, unfortunately.
Very unfortunate, especially on a track as
Andre
narrow.
Myrie going up the outside of Double OT, right behind Kirk here.
Oh, and they're rubbing wheels there. I just got the cameras on them now. Elbows out, as they say. Into the downhill section.
Right there too. This is a beautiful little group right here that's forming up.
Yes, certainly.
We're going to see a couple of battles here.
You can see on the track map, there's about two little packs. You've got like the one being led by Hoopalicious, and you've got the one being led here. I believe that is the Ferrari of King Kirk in the front of this little foursome. So love to see a good midfield battle because a lot of these drivers are looking to get themselves into that top 10 of the driver standings. You know, only 8 races left in the season. Not a lot of time left to make up real estate.
Absolutely. Kirk is going to do everything he can to hold that position as long as he can on those soft compound tires. But eventually, these medium runners are just going to eat him alive. He's not going to have a chance. He's going to have to pit.
I would estimate lap 10 if he'd like to try and get some clear air maybe, because unfortunately when he does come out, he will come out in quite a bit of traffic.
Yeah, I think I don't know. He might try to wait until he sees somebody else.
Ooh, and that's a beautiful Andre Myrie selling the dummy to OT. Oh my God, he just mugged him. Wow, what a move up the inside, and that is the Racing Point up into P11 now, trying to hunt down that Ferrari. King Kirk looking mighty slow all of a sudden. Those softs rapidly approaching that cliff into the left-hander. King Kirk getting a big slide. Ooh, Andre's going to have to avoid there. They're side by side now into the loop. Let's see who's going to have the better position for the chicane. King Kirk trying to push out to the left into the braking zone. King Kirk leaving him knife space. Good on them. Good sportsmanship. Unfortunately, the Racing Point will have to think better of that move. Quite the dogfight happening at the back of the field here. IB, do you have eyes on anything at the front of the field maybe cooking right now?
I mean, they're close, but they're not really jostling yet. I think, and again, this is one of those things that happens in motorsport. You've got these two different groups, and these drivers up front, they're primarily looking at self-preservation right now, right? They're only on lap 8. We've got 35 to go.
And speaking of self-preservation, Kirk into the pits. That will release Andre Myrie to chase down the Toro Rosso of Saxman. He will be leading this little foursome of Double OT, Nick, and Alfa Nesis now. Into the points. Good for them. Reimer getting the move done on Saxman into turn 1. Side by side, can Saxman get those wheels alongside into the left-hander? It's going to be tight. Squeeze through there, folks. Reimer's going to hold it, though, into the right-hander now. Saxman in that slipstream. Can he poke a nose up the inside of that Alfa Romeo? He's having a think. He's having a look. It's not going to happen. Into the loop now. Let's see. Ed looking.
Oh, we have Nick around.
Oh,
Nick
no.
around.
And that is that a spin? That is going to be.
That was a spin. It was a contact with Alfeasance. They were fighting for position coming around that flyer. And between the contact, Nick just got spun around.
And Nick is missing he is missing that right end plate. Jay Lee now into the pits on those hard compounded tires. He will probably try to finish the race on those. But yeah, very unfortunate for Nick, who just really hasn't had any luck this season.
Yeah, it's always it's just such a struggle, and I get it. It happens to me a lot. I tend to get damaged when I feel like I shouldn't have, and it just makes it really hard to come back here. It will be interesting to see how his strategy changes now.
On board with the threesome of Ed, Reimer, and Saxman, our tasty little midfield battle forming here. You're absolutely right. Those leaders are just thinking about the big picture. Not a lot of movement between any of them. The interval's almost staying completely steady. Really a testament to the skill of those drivers to not get greedy early in the race.
Yeah, I mean, I know I don't have the patience for it personally. I'm like, let's get it done, let's go. But I mean, that's the difference, right? Between what we have here in our midfield and what we have here in our upper end. These drivers that are all up here in this little bunch, 6th to 1st, they know that if they maintain it, they're going to be faster and they're going to be able to stay up there instead of fighting each other. These other drivers down below, their goal is, let's get into that zone so we can do that. So they're pushing their tires and running them harder and everything. So that's where the challenge comes from.
We have
a Ferrari stop.
Yes, we do. We do have a Ferrari stopped on track. Is that going to be Caspita?
It is Kirk.
Oh, very unfortunate. Is that damage on his car? Was it a spin?
He is missing an end plate now. I would assume it was a spin just based off of where he was on the track. As you well know, if we switch over to Chandler here, he'll actually show us the corner. On this corner that he's getting ready to come into, if you touch that inside curb and you don't have the right amount of traction, it will throw the car around, no question asked, and there's no chance of saving it. So I would assume that that's what ended up happening to Kirk, unfortunately, as it looks like that Saxman has gotten past Reimer.
Yes, he has, and that was Ed still leading up this little trio here, but they're inseparable, it would seem. A lot of drivers taking a bit of an adventurous line over the low-speed chicane. I don't know if you've noticed that yet. Ooh, King Kirk, unfortunately, out of the session. Very unfortunate for King Kirk. We wish him all the best from up here in the booth. But, yeah, have you noticed that? There's you can kind of really take a gratuitous amount of the inside curb without getting penalized.
Yeah, I've noticed that. It's still very hard because you don't want to get over the big hump at the top of the curve, right?
Right.
If you would. even though it's candy cane painted. Well, let's call it the candy cane. You don't want to go over the candy cane, okay? You want to use the flat part of the candy cane, not the round part.
Certainly. Speaking of, yeah, you don't end up on the naughty list. And the first of our lead pack, Boss Cookie into the pits, going on to the hard compound of tire. He will come out in about P13. Yes, he will. P12, excuse me. They'll promote a couple drivers up a few spots. Let's see if the undercut has worked. I wonder if that might have been a bit of an interesting strategy choice, opting for the hards at this stage. Really not anticipating any kind of safety car mix-up, just kind of going for it.
Yeah, absolutely here. It looks like Ginger is getting ready to possibly go for a pass here.
Oh, safety car.
Safety car.
Who crashed?
We have a Mercedes Alfizans.
Ooh.
If we go get on with Caspita, he might be able to show us before that Mercedes
vanishes from view.
By the stewards. Taken away by the track team. Come on now.
Oh, that's right. It's not the stewards. The marshals. Pardon me, folks.
The marshals.
Yeah, let's see here. Caspita's coming around the corner now. Let's see. Oh, and he has disappeared, folks. Just the way he came.
Those marshals are fantastic.
Yeah. Take notes, everyone. But there you have it. A lot of cars into the pits. You called it just like you saw it, IB. That's the top 7 cars all rushing in. I can only assume wanting to get those hard compounded tires on to finish this race.
The big winner here could end up being Boss Cookie for pitting that lap earlier. He's going to be able to get past a lot of these cars that are in the pits.
Yeah, talk about a free stop. He's up to P7 now. That's 6 free positions. I don't know if you have any Alpha Max Nova fans out there. Free position gang, rise up. Into the queue now. Chandler Seda leading us off here with Reimer on those hard compounded tires. Let's have a look and how long he's had them on. These are going to be old hard, so he will probably not be thinking about pitting for about 10 laps here.
Absolutely. So, we have a safety car. Let's see what we have from our paddock pass and our wonderful crew here of drivers and see who responded and what they had to say.
We had a guest this week. The infamous Carol Baskin stopped by.
Yeah, it seems that their opinion for everything happens to be about tigers. I don't know why. But Carol Baskin, we understand that you feel very passionately about tigers, but I feel like most of the country, other than the people that were on the show, according to the latest television drop there on Netflix for episode 8, which was not really an episode, feel that Joe should be free. So I'm gonna stand with that because, yeah, I may live in Oklahoma, but it's not that Oklahoma, I promise you.
Forgot about that. You are in the neighborhood of Joe Exotic. It didn't even dawn on me.
It's about an hour and a half south of here.
Well, here's the thing. I haven't finished the documentary, so I actually don't know like the full story. I just know that he hates Carol Baskin and Tiger people are crazy and Doc Antle's crazy and like it's a whole cast of characters. Like I get the point, but I actually have no idea what he was put in jail for. And why Carol's walking free if she allegedly murdered her husband. They went through that on the last episode I saw. So I'm not completely out of the loop yet.
I'm not going to spoil it for you. All that I'm going to say is beautiful how Netflix staged it. So each episode you realize that somebody else is just as crazy as the others. You start off thinking, oh, Doc Antle, he's a great guy. You get farther into it. Doc Antle
is a cult leader.
Yeah. Like, you can't do anything.
He's running his own little tiger print Jonestown. I couldn't believe it. The women can leave whenever they want. I was like, is that so, Doc? And then the woman from, was it Iowa? They were interviewing her, and she was like a little, folks, I don't want to disparage anyone's reputation, but she seemed a little Looney Tunes to me. That whole crowd is, to be honest. But it's quite the show, isn't it, IP?
I'll tell you what. I was scrolling through Netflix. I saw Tiger King and I saw Joe Exotic, And my ex-girlfriend had told me about a date that she had went on with her ex-boyfriend.
You're
there.
kidding.
No.
You're kidding, really?
She had met Joe Exotic, and she had given me like 25% off coupons or whatever that like were business cards that I never used.
Do you still have them?
No.
Oh,
I wish I did.
brutal.
Hey, we have a race back underway.
Yes, we do.
Though.
Enough about Tiger
We
King.
can talk about this when everything spaces back out, guys. We will come back. But Chandler leading the pack to the line, going extremely defensive, diving low, so Reimer can't get too much slipstream. Reimer, big winner up here as Hoopalicious is down the inside into
late
turn
on
one.
the brakes, but he's getting a little shove there from the Red Bull. Ham Newton trying to have a say about things. Oh, poor Reimer. That's going to be 2 positions down. He'll have the inside line. Let's see if he can hold it. That Red Bull is going to take a very adventurous line through there, and he is ahead now. Reimer getting dusted on the restart there. Down 2 positions. Big winner, Hoopalicious and Boss Cookie. Wow. Quick mix-up at the front.
Absolutely. I think, I mean, you know, looking at the tires now and all the data that we have here in front of us, guys, it's understandable why Reimer fell back. It's just unfortunate. We obviously want to see him battling up there, just like the rest of our drivers. So,
ooh, Cookie running really wide there, trying to get past Ginger. Let's see. We got a bit of a dogfight on our hands here, folks. Ginger back in front. Boss right on his gearbox. Oh, that's Boss. He's off. He's off. He's lost. That McLaren just said sayonara and just gave up on being stuck to the track. Big wash of dirty air there, wasn't that?
yeah, it definitely got him sideways enough and made him look up. Boss Cookie missing an end plate already. Looks like he is going to dive into the pits.
Curse of the commentator strikes again.
Yeah, extremely. Can't do this anymore. We just curse people all the time. Looks like he's retiring out of just pure frustration from that. Very unfortunate. Don't want to see that for Boss Cookie. He had a great race going on. As Caspita is now looking at getting by Jay Lee.
There you have it. And then there were 13 folks. Not even a wet race, and we've already got 4 retirements. Jay Lee and the Ferrari in a bit of a dogfight here. Jay Lee sailing through there, and oh, now Nick's going to get Caspita too. Let's see, into the left-hander. Caspita is going to try to go back up the inside of Nick here. Nothing really going. Trying to look for the cutback, maybe get a better run into the chicane. Beadunk's going to get a 3-second time penalty. Into the chicane, late on the brakes. That Ferrari was hoping something would happen. He's going to have to take to the escape road. But he won't gain an advantage there, so he will not be served a penalty. Good on him to keep the car in one piece and not punt Nick into the Hungarian hills here.
I encourage you to jump on Ginger's car because you're about to see a beautiful battle in front of you.
Oh, indeed. I see this right now. Beat-Dunk, Reimer, Ginger. Beautiful little trio here. Alfa. It's an Alfa sandwich with a Williams in the middle. On board with Ginger, following the back, this little threesome. No DRS yet. It hasn't been 3 laps since the safety car. This will all be done on slipstream. You can see that there. They're all single file down the pit lane. Reimer sticking to the right, Beedunk sticking to the left. Ginger maybe hoping for a look up the inside at the last minute. No, big lockup from Beedunk there, though. That Alfa looking for a better exit. Nothing really going, unfortunately. Into the left-hander, though. Let's see. They're going to stay single file. Nothing getting out of shape there, though. Beedunk, you think he's going to go for a run into the left-hander here? Let's find out. Good exit. He's got the momentum. Reimer sticking to the left. He's going to go back to the right. B-Dunk up the inside. Oh, and he's going to make contact. And he's spun. Oh, that was a brave maneuver. That has cost him dearly. B-Dunk is out of the fight there, folks. That will promote quite a few drivers up. And we got another sandwich. Oh, my God. It's pandemonium down here. That was double OT into this side of the racing point. No damage for either of them. Loads of incidents, though, all kicking off here. Hoopalicious going to get a penalty out of all of that for some. Wow, unbelievable stuff here, folks.
And I stuck on board there with B-Dunk, and as he came back onto the track, he is automatically back into a battle here with Jay Lee, trying to hold position after falling down so much. Luckily, no damage to B-Dunk's car, though, so he should be able to continue, other than maybe 1,000-degree tires.
Oh,
that
yikes.
are just absolutely roasted.
You really, yeah, it's like driving around on ice. You do not want that. He's going to have the run here, though. Jay Lee not going to have the DRS. Bit of a connection issue. Let's hope. Oh, Jay Lee going all the way to the right, almost Schumachering him into the wall. Will B-Dunk sell the dummy? No, he's going to take that line. Big lockup. Jay Lee's going to stay in front, unfortunately. DRS coming back at him. Jay Lee's going to have the inside line. B-Dunk trying to stick it around the outside. Side by side. A bit of contact. Jay Lee's lost it. Jay Lee is spun. He is heading for the barrier, folks. No idea if there's damage to his car, but it's certainly gotten a bit fighty around here, hasn't it?
For sure. It looks like Jay Lee ended up losing a left side end plate there, as we saw a little bit of team orders happen there on the straightaway between Alfa Romeo. Obviously, Reimer on 16-lap old tires and Ginger on much fresher tires. But he's got some work to do. He's about 5 seconds back to Ham Newton. And surprisingly, Chandler really hasn't been able to pull away as much as he was at the beginning of the race. Hoopalicious is saying, hey, come on, slip up a little bit, run a little wide, lock up. It's okay. I'm right here.
Never say never, though. If ERS and Hoopalicious start getting into a dogfight, Chandler will be able to kind of ride off into the sunset for the summer break, won't he?
I mean, it's true, but do you really think that Ham Newton and Hoopalicious are that kind of driver, or do you think that they're mentally, there enough to say, hey, if we work together and stay out of a fight, we both might gain in a position, as Hoopalicious runs wide and Ham Newton is going up the outside? That was the error that he needed, and it's now thrown them both off and slowing them both down here going into Sector 2.
Little brake check from Hoopalicious there, maybe into the loop. Ooh, Jay Lee is out of the race. Jay Lee is out of the race. Very unfortunate for the Mercedes drivers. We are down to 12 runners. Caspita out of the session now, down to 11. Very unfortunate stuff, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. I mean, we never want to see drivers fall out. I think Reimer here is going to pit soon. He's trying really hard to fight with Saxman, and he just keeps getting it sideways in places that, all honesty, he probably shouldn't.
Yeah,
Looks like we might end up getting a VSC because, for whatever reason, Cody's has sent the two cars that have retired back out on track.
Yeah, I heard some talk around the league about certain glitches like that. They will have to do a full another lap, I believe, at half speed. That Ferrari's just pulled off, even though he's already retired. So, and the Mercedes has pulled off too. So there you have it, and they vanished. We're back underway. Yeah, Codemasters. They've got their little niggles, but it all works itself out.
One way or another, it does look like that the gaps are kind of opening back up here. Chandler now able to get back up to about a 3-second gap, but still keeping in check here.
Yeah, and we've got Reimer in. He's got those mediums on. He will go to the end on those. Not sure if the overcut's going to work out for him here. He will have to hope that one of these hard runners just finds themselves with wing damage, because I don't see him really being able to close. I mean, he could close 12 seconds maybe, but beyond that, I don't really see him making any moves into the points besides P10.
I would agree, but there's always a chance of a safety car, and I don't want to see anybody else get knocked out. But
this is Formula One. You never know.
I mean, for all we know, we could see rain in the next 2 minutes. Doesn't look like it, but we could.
Well, I jinxed myself. Reimer is going to get past Nick. Nick is ghosted, so it would seem Nick is AFK. Unfortunately, I don't know if that might be a connection issue or a Codemasters issue, but no one is home at the moment. He's pulling into the pits. I would say that'll be race over for him, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, we're going to go down to all points paying positions here at the end.
Speaking of all points paying, Reimer just set a purple third sector, so he is on the charge now to get back into the fight. Things are really... Sorry, you go.
I think Reimer is just, he's hungry at this point. He's like, I want to taste. He's like, I know all these cars are on 10-lap older tires. 7-lap older tires, but they're all on a harder compound. They can't run the same pace. He's good on fuel right now, so it just really depends. Can he throw in some quali laps here?
Yeah.
And reel it in?
Wouldn't you say though that sometimes the the more preferred strategy if you're a driver, because you just like to kind of push the car. Driving conservatively is not really in anyone's blood if you're doing this in your spare time. So not having to worry about tire life is kind of it's a plus for sure.
Absolutely. Chandler just went ahead and set the fastest lap, though, kind of saying, hey, you may be on softer tires, but there's no chance you're catching me still.
Fastest lap's going to be, what, a 116?
It was a 119. 116 was quality.
Oh, right. So we're still a whole 2 seconds off for Verstappen's time. Yeah, strategy looks to be pretty locked in. The only battle I can really see is we got Andre Myrie and Ed, but they're probably just going to go to team orders. ERS and Hoop just trying to tuck in and get to the end here. Reimer's got that gap down a second, and looks like Ginger, Saxman are kind of in no man's land. We got Ed in no man's land with his teammate, and then we got Double OT and Reimer kind of in no man's land. Double OT, though, getting past his teammate there. I didn't know they were that close on the track. Chandler Satas left the session. Oh, goodness me. Folks.
Excuse me?
It would appear that... Oh, big lockup from B-Dunk there. Yeah, it would appear our race leader, he's absconded. Both the Renaults have absconded. Look at that. We've got phantom banana boats, folks. I don't know if you believe in ghosts, but I'm seeing two with my very own eyes. ERS going to get past Hoop. They're side by side. He's going for it. He must have seen that notification and said, here we go. The race is on. No more tucking in if there's no one's home. Side by side now, Ham Newton's going to get through. These are on similarly matched tires. Ham Newton stands to the left. He's going to pull to the right probably here at the very last minute. Ooh, Hoop getting real close there in that Haas car. Let's see, into the loop. Chandler Seda is back now.
It did cost him a full second, though, there. And I can only imagine it's cost him a little bit more time through the next few corners as he tries to get reacclimated. Or he may just continue to leave the car ghosted until he gets to a place where he feels like he can safely take control of it.
My God, this has got to be the worst track to get out of the pause menu.
I mean, the only opportunity is here in the straight. And that's it. There is no real good opportunity.
And from what
still ghosted.
Yeah, from what I can see, I think unfortunately, the racing gods are gonna. Oh, and he's back, and he has gone full car, but he's got that Red Bull right up against him. ERS gonna pull to the right side. Let's see how fast alongside he'll go. He's in front. They're side by side into the hairpin now. Chandler maybe looking for the cutback. Let's see. Gotten a good run through there. Yes, he's got it. Wow, what a sensational move. Yellow flags in Sector 1. That looks to be Hoopalicious spun out, unfortunately. ERS and Chandler, though, going, toe to tip there. Very close. Tires to front wings. Ham Newton's going to get a 3-second time penalty for running wide. He's undone all that hard work. Oh, so unfortunate for the Red Bull driver. Chandler will say thank you very much because now all he's got to do is just stay within 3 seconds.
Yeah, I don't believe Chandler has any penalties. Normally he keeps it on the track, but luckily we can always check just to make sure.
Yes, certainly we can check. Hoop, though, trying to close to Saxman, get back into the podiums here. Ginger kind of being gifted that podium. I didn't see what happened necessarily to Hoopalicious, but it must not have been pleasant. Ham Newton back in front of Chandler now. Well, still in front of Chandler, rather.
Let's play a game, should we, Best?
Yeah, I'm listening. What you got for me?
Do you want good news or bad news?
I'll take the bad news first. What's up?
Well, bad news is Chandler has a 3-second penalty.
You're kidding.
I'm not. But good news, we get to see a battle here, probably till the end.
Yeah, certainly. And with only 11 laps to go, we got cars on identical tires. And Ham Newton is kind of sailing off into the sunset here. Looking down the rest of the field, Ginger has kind of got them in his sights. That's always a nice feeling when you can see the car in front of you as a visual reference. Hoop within a second of Saxman. And the 2 racing points holding station, go figure. Consummate professionals not wanting to get too out of shape and keep B-Dunk behind them. Racing Point now, kind of a dark horse to get past Williams in the Constructors. They keep this up.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's gonna get really interesting here, though. I mean, I'm just looking at times and everything. Uh, right now, Ginger Horizon doesn't have any penalties that I saw, so he could be into play here too for second place.
That would be a fascinating. That wow, even for the lead, no penalties, you say, and a fastest lap. He's coming, folks. As the gods foretold.
I think Ginger just sees yellow and it makes him put that foot down. Actually, we're gonna see a three-way track battle, guys.
What makes you say that?
All three of them. I stand corrected. Ginger does have a 3-second penalty, but we're gonna see a three-way track battle here for first place, I think, in the closing stages of this race.
Oh,
he picked up another 3-second. Ginger.
And you've J-worded it.
Killing me, man. Killing me. Yeah, Hoopalicious trying to get back here. It looks like he is going on Saxman. Staying pretty close to him.
Indeed, he is. Hoop will probably get that move done sooner than later. Let's see. Both cars running really wide there. Saxman probably thinking to himself, 10 laps to go. Why not? Why not me? Why shouldn't I be P4? Hoopalicious, on the other hand, was in the fight for the top 3 at one point. Unfortunately, has squandered that.
Yeah, I'm sure he's absolutely kicking himself after getting the back end loose. As it looks like Saxman runs wide here, but he's going to have the better exit, of course, with a little bit more traction running that wide. DRS wide open here from Hoopalicious. 8th gear. No ERS. Goes down the inside.
What a move! What a move into the downhill. He's in front. He's staying in front. Wow. Last of the late breakers. What a beautiful move by Hoop.
Daniel Ricciardo, eat your heart out.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you'll love to see it. Speaking of on-track battles, we've now got Chandler right. He's got that Red Bull right in his crosshairs within about 0.3, which at this track was pretty much prime overtaking opportunity. There's a car in front of them, though he's ghosted, so there won't really need to be any blue flag considerations made at this stage. But Ham Newton probably thinking to himself, how can I hold this for just a few more laps? Chandler's got that car nice and charged up. So's the Red Bull. Ooh, we're in for a big lockup, and Chandler's undone a lot of the good work he had put in. That gap's going to pull out to about half a second there. Very unfortunate for the Renault there. DRS, though, open. Let's see how close he can get here. Ham Newton sailing away in the Honda-powered Red Bull. Let's see. Chandler Seda trying to close up. Hot on the heels there, having a peak. Ham Newton just going to stay in front. DRS one more time before the downhill run. I would expect there to be a few more laps before we see too much movement between these two drivers. All the while, look who's come into picture. The penalties aside, if we're looking at on-track battles, Ginger is going to be smelling this one.
Saxman's not really letting Hoop get away too much, but B-Dunk is about to say hello to some racing points here and gonna want to get past. So he's gonna try to make a little bit of a climb back here too. Possible 6th position for him today.
Yeah, lucky for Ed, he's got a tail gunner here. I bet they're bouncing ideas off each other in the party chat right now to hold this. B-Dunk is a very fast driver. Ooh, over the chicane. They're close, folks. Unfortunately, I can't ride on board with B-Dunk. He's got the full throttle glitch for me. But we'll ride on the helicopter cam and the track cam. B-Dunk got to be kicking himself in such a good position to start this now. He is just trying to get back into the fight. Ooh, big lockup for him there. Andre Myrie checking his mirrors, though. He will see that.
I'm going to steal your attention for the second up here on Chandler going for the... He's trying to go for that underline, but it just wasn't there. Couldn't make the car stick and get the traction down. But definitely a good attempt there from Chandler. I apologize for stealing the thunder there from you for a little bit, Best. I just thought that we were going to have a pass there, and it was really, really close.
No. You did the right thing. You absolutely did the right thing. Don't worry. The lead battle is always the most important battle. Chandler, 0.2 back now. I did catch the end of it, and I did see that move, in fact, did not stick, though, into the chicane now. Looking at the Red Bull, looking at the Renault. Two teams that definitely don't like each other. You can kind of throw out the record books when it comes to these two, isn't that right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, come on, Christian Horner and Cyril having conversations, not being very happy about engine supplies, all that good stuff. Come on. I mean, Red Bull just wants to say, hey, look, we got a Honda engine that used to suck in a McLaren, but it rocks in our car, and it's better than yours.
I don't think I've seen Chandler under this much pressure. He is locking up left and right. Kind of reminds you of a certain F1 driver when they're suddenly under pressure. Not really looking so comfortable as he was earlier. Gotta say, that cool collected Renault, really hammering the pedal. ERS going to cover the inside. Chandler's going to look to make the move around the outside. That Red Bull's going to take a gratuitous line through there, as I assumed he would. Staying in front one more time. Great defense from the Red Bull. Ham Newton kind of showing up today and telling everyone what's what. Real quick boy, isn't he?
Absolutely. I think it's time to hop a car back, though, because he's within half a second. We've got a beautiful view of this battle at this point.
Yes. And as you know how these guys are, they will want to do it on track. I'm surprised that Chandler's locking up as much as he is and just kind of sliding in and out of corners. He's usually such a very cool guy.
It kind of is reminding me of Vettel's Red Bull days, if you would.
Yes.
As long as Vettel was in front, he was fine. But the second he got in some traffic, he just couldn't handle the pressure.
I guess they say that that's kind of been a hangover to his Ferrari days now. It seems like there's always that seminal, this is where Ferrari threw away the championship moment the last couple of years running. 2017, it was Singapore. 2018, going into the gravel in Hockenheim. 2019, I mean, where to begin there? But Ginger now in the mix. Ferrari gossip aside, I would think he's going to get past Chandler in 2 laps' time, I'd say. Maybe even this lap.
Yeah, I mean, if Ham Newton can continue to hold him up, nothing's going to stop Ginger from finding a spot to get it taken care of, especially here with 5 laps to go at this point. These drivers are going to be in for a long, long battle here.
Chandler in between the Alfa Romeo and Red Bull here, checking his mirrors and also trying to get an overtake done at the same time. Certainly not an enviable position to be in. Into the S section. Ooh, Ed's going to get a time penalty there. Looks like his teammate will go at... Oh, his teammate's got about a... No, he will collect that, won't he? Assuming Andre's got no penalties. That makes 0 difference in the constructors, though.
Andre and B-Dunk, that's correct.
Mm-hmm. Another big lockup from Chandler. God, he's just struggling on those hards. Safe to say his grip might have fallen off.
I mean, it's possible. He's been pushing really, really hard now for several laps. I mean, Ham Newton really didn't do much until he saw the opportunity when Chandler ghosted for a while.
Indeed, Chandler trying to fake a dummy. He's going to take it to the outside. Another big lockup there. Ham Newton's just going to hold that line. Clean defensive move there. Nothing really Chandler can do about that. Into the downhill braking. Chandler going to try to have a poke. Ooh, he's right on that Honda gearbox. Not quite going, though. Let's see. Can we see a brave move into the left-hander, maybe? Don't think so. Chandler's a little smarter than that. Into the loop now. Let's see. Everyone keeping it clean. No one getting their tires in the gutter. Into the chicane. A little too far back to get anything done there. I would assume some gratuitous inside curb. Yep. Into the S now. Ginger just watching this with anticipation.
I mean, there's points on the track where Ginger is practically pushing the Renault through the corners.
Oh, man. B-Dunk, though, looks like he's about to get the move done there. Let's see. Nope. He is all over the track. Back on with the lead little trio here. Ham, Chandler, and Ginger. Sounds like a really good sandwich to me. Ham going to stay in front. Chandler's going to have the DRS. Let's see what Ham decides to do. Sticking to the middle of the track. Chandler's going to have to pick a side. He's going to try to fake it to the left. Oh, he's going to go back up the inside. Beautiful move. Can he hold it? big lockup that's going to cost him dearly on momentum on the exit. Ham's going to stay in front, but he's got the DRS one more time. Ham sticking to the middle of the track there, holding the racing line through the corner. That's going to set him up a little awkwardly, though. Let's see, can he get a good run through the right-hander? Yes, he can. Into the lightning fast left. Ham going real slow. Chandler getting the exit, having a look, but just ran out of road, unfortunately. Into the loop now. Ginger is got to be kicking himself for the show he's got. Front row seats into the chicane now. Another lockup. Those fronts have got to be on, nuts and bolts at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure if this was an actual tire, he'd be showing a little bit of wire here at this point. Very interesting, though. Chandler has a lot of ERS still. He is sitting at right around 65%, while, we've got Ham Newton up here with only about 40% at max. I mean, he's sitting at 37 right now. And Ginger back here kind of doing the same thing, being conservative and saving. None of these cars have low fuel lights on, so they are either cranking the engines up on the straight and saving a lot in the course, but it's becoming a fight.
Yeah, and about the tire thing, you're right. If this was real life, he would be showing just a little wire. Does Codemasters do anything along the lines of flat spotting, or do they keep it pretty like basic?
Are you suggesting that we kick our D1 drivers up to simulation damage next year?
I used to drive on simulation in my career mode. That was the dumbest thing I've ever done. I turned that back down to full. It was way better after that.
Absolutely. I mean, simulation, you can run over a piece of carbon fiber and get it flat. So it would be amazing. And I'm not saying that I don't think Ginger running extremely wide there into the chicane. I'm not saying that I don't think our drivers could handle it, but I would not want to be one.
Yeah, unfortunately, this game doesn't really lend itself to simulation damage, just the nature of the game mechanics and the physics of it. But it does make for good racing. I do have to say that. That's the one thing they've gotten right, is that week in and week out, lots of overtakes, lots of really interesting strategy mix-ups, safety cars, you name it. It's always a good time. But 2 laps to go, and everyone's tip to front, tip to back here. Looking a bit single-filey. Two cars are going to have to...
he's ever been.
Yeah, certainly so. Ham sticking to the left. Chandler going to try to go for the cutback here. Let's see. Taking it gently through there, but it's not going to happen. Ooh! Big kick of oversteer. That will reel him right into the crosshairs of the Alfa. Oh, and that's a big one for Ham, and he's made contact with Chandler. Chandler having to avoid there. Though Chandler is the car behind, he will have to avoid. That is the rules. Chandler hot on the tail, though, still. He hasn't cost him too much momentum into the loop. Ginger falling back all of a sudden. He's lost a little bit of momentum there. Another big lockup for the Renault. It's just lockup city, isn't it? Into the S's. 2 laps to go here, folks. IB, why don't you take us through the finishing stages of this race?
Absolutely, not a problem here. So it looks like that we have, 11 cars left here at this point. Throughout the races, double OT sets a fastest lap. Chandler, the big question is this race. Is he going to be able to get back after his disconnect past Ham Newton? As here we go yet again for the final lap, the final real passing opportunity. DRS again wide open, depleting that ERS all the way, reeling in the Red Bull, going into the first corner, not alongside, can't really get anything to stick there. Car still kind of dancing around under acceleration here. I really am struggling with the fact of whether he's going to be able to get this done as the car slides again. Chandler is just off of his lines at this point, and I'm going to be amazed if he can get it done in any other section or part of this track, as Ginger Horizon has kind of accepted where he is at this point. It looks like he's in fuel trouble, so he is backed off about 2 seconds.
Ooh, big lockup. Yeah, big lockup for Chandler there. He is really struggling to get past here. I'll let you take the final corners, though, IB. I won't interrupt again. Don't worry.
No, you're fine. I absolutely enjoy it. I feel a little scared and left alone. But here we go again. This is really the final braking attempt. He tries to go around the outside. Big lockup. Both front tires completely not rotating there. As Ham Newton runs wide. Chandler on the inside.
Oh!
Spinning.
Onto the grass!
Oh! Terrifying moments here, as Ham Newton is going to have earned this one, and Chandler is not going to let him forget that he is right there in second as Ginger Horizon bringing it home in third.
Maybe we'll see that one in incident reports later, won't we?
Oh, I hope not. Hoopalicious, frustrated, but coming home in third due to Ginger's timing penalties. Guys, your finishing stats are going to be Ham Newton in first, Chandler Seda in second, Hoopalicious in third, Ginger Horizon fourth, Saxman fifth, Andre Myrie in sixth, Ed in seventh, B-Dunk eighth, Reimer coming home in ninth, Double OT in 10th, PPR Nick in 11th, and then we have our drivers that did not finish the race today, unfortunately. Caspita, Jay Lee, Boss Cookie, Alfeasance, King Kirk, and Brackish. Bess, what do you think?
That was, I gotta say, it was a lot of slow racing with a lot of rapid action mixed in. It was kind of a slow burner, and then somebody would throw, a tank of gas on the fire. Under that safety car restart, certainly we saw a lot of great action. But congratulations to our podium finishers. That will be Ham Newton, Chandler, and that's Hoopalicious, correct?
Correct.
Hoopalicious in P3. So congratulations, guys. Thank you all for coming out. I don't believe we'll be doing interviews today, IB. What's the word on that?
I have heard nothing on it. Other than that, though, I think that it was absolutely a fantastic drive by our drivers. As always, here at PPR, we look forward to seeing you guys later on in the week. As we explained at the top of the show, there is plenty more racing to come before we reach the end of this week.
We are very, very much looking forward to it, folks. Tune in. We got races the rest of the week. We got races tomorrow night. We got races Thursday. Come out Friday and see me for the first time back on track since France. So I'm very excited to be racing here at Hungary. It's one of my favorite tracks. Come check out Division 4. We have our exhibition races. That might be changing format soon, though, so keep your ears out for that. That'll be around Saturday and Sunday. But from all of us here at PPR, thank you for joining us. IB, any closing thoughts?
No, not at all. I'm extremely looking forward to racing later this week. And as always, thank you guys for stopping by and for your continued support. We love y'all. Have a great night.
Thank you, guys. I'm your host, Best. And as always, stay close.